The Oromo people, pronounced Or-M-O, are a Cushitic ethnic group native to the Oromia region of Ethiopia and parts of northern Kenya. They speak the Oromo language, also called Afaan Oromoo, which is part of the Cushitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. They are one of the largest ethnic groups in Ethiopia. According to the last Ethiopian census of 2007, the Oromo numbered 25,488,344 people, or 34.5% of the Ethiopian population. Recent estimates have the Oromo comprising 45 million people, or 35.8% of the total Ethiopian population, estimated at 116 million. The Oromo were originally nomadic, semi-pastoralist people who later would conquer large swaths of land during their expansions. After the settlement, they would establish kingdoms in the Jibe regions and dynasties in Abyssinia. The Oromo people traditionally used the Gadaa system as the primary form of governance. A leader is elected by the Gadaa system and their term lasts 8 years, with an election taking place at the end of those 8 years. Although most modern Oromos are Muslims and Christians, about 3% practice Wakafana, the native ancient Cushitic monotheistic religion of Oromos. The Oromo people have governed themselves in accordance with the Gadaa system long before the 16th century. The system regulates the political, economic, social, and religious activities of the community. Oromo were traditionally a culturally homogeneous society with genealogical ties. A male born in the Oromo clan went through 5 stages of 8 years, where his life established his role and status for consideration to a Gadaa office. Every 8 years the Oromo would choose by consensus 9 leaders for the office. A leader elected by the Gadaa system remains in power only for 8 years, with an election taking place at the end of those 8 years. Although most modern Oromos are Muslims and Christians, about 3% practice Wakafana, the native ancient Cushitic monotheistic religion of Oromos. The traditional religion is more common in southern Oromo populations, and Christianity more common in and near the urban centers, while Islam is more common near the Somali border and in the north. Historical linguistics and comparative ethnology studies suggest that the Oromo people probably originated around the lakes Lake Chubahir and Lake Chamo. They are a Cushitic people, and prior to their expansions, they inhabited only the region of what is now modern-day North Kenya and southern Ethiopia. The aftermath of the 16th century Ethiopian Adal War led Oromos to move to the north. While Oromo people have lived in the region for a long time, the ethnic mixture of peoples who have lived here is unclear. The Oromos increased their numbers through assimilation as well as the inclusion of mixed peoples. The native names of the territories were replaced by the name of the Oromo clans who settled on it while the indigenous people were assimilated. The early 16th and 17th century witnessed the gradual integration of the Oromo into the Ethiopian Empire. Emperor Susenyos I, who came to power with Oromo support, did much to integrate them into the political establishment of the Christian state. Having grown up among the Oromo, he was fluent in their language and admired their way of life. He employed Oromo warriors, military tactics, and combat formations against his rivals for the throne. Once in power, he filled high-level offices with his Oromo supporters and settled various Oromo groups throughout much of Gojam and Begemder. Like other ethnic groups in the Horn of Africa and East Africa, Oromo people regionally developed social stratification consisting of 4 hierarchical strata. The highest strata were the nobles called the Barana. Below them were the Gabaro. Below these 2 upper castes were the despised castes of artisans, and at the lowest level were the slaves. The Oromo people are engaged in many occupations. The southern Oromo, specifically the Barana Oromo, are largely pastoralists who raise goats and cattle. Other Oromo groups have a more diverse economy, which includes agriculture and work in urban centers. Some Oromo also sell many products and food items like coffee beans at local markets. In December 2009, a 96-page report titled "Human Rights in Ethiopia, Through the Eyes of the Oromo Diaspora," compiled by the Advocates for Human Rights, documented human rights violations against the Oromo in Ethiopia under 3 successive regimes: the Ethiopian Empire under Haile Selassie Marxist Derg, and the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, EPRDF. According to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, the Oromia Support Group, OSG, recorded 594 extrajudicial killings of Oromos by Ethiopian government security forces and 43 disappearances in custody between 2005 and August 2008. Starting in November 2015, during a wave of mass protests, mainly by Oromos, over the expansion of the municipal boundary of the city of Addis Ababa into Oromia, over 500 people have been killed, and many more have been injured, according to human rights advocates and independent monitors. The Oromo have played a major role in the internal dynamics of Ethiopia. Accordingly, Oromos played major roles in all three main political movements in Ethiopia, centralist, federalist and secessionist, during the 19th and 20th century. In addition to holding high powers during the centralist government and the monarchy, the Raya Oromos, in the Tigray regional state, played a major role in the Wayan revolt, challenging Emperor Haile Selassie's rule in the 1940s. Simultaneously, both federalist and secessionist political forces developed inside the Oromo community. The Oromos are the largest ethnic group in Ethiopia, numbering about 40 million. They are predominantly concentrated in the Oromia region in central Ethiopia, the largest region in the country by both population and area. They speak Afaan Oromoo, the official language of Oromia. Oromos constitute the third most populous ethnic group among Africans as a whole, and the most populous among Horners specifically. Oromo also have a notable presence in northern Kenya in the Marsabit County, Isiolo County, and Tana River County. The Oromo people have a rich history and culture that continues to influence the region to this day. Why do 90% of media professionals choose NOV and WABI media? At NOV and WABI media, we redefine storytelling. Our content isn't just produced, it's crafted with passion and precision. From high-quality visuals to a unified brand identity, we ensure every frame resonates. Dive into a world where your interaction fuels our innovation. Subscribe, like, and comment to join a community that celebrates creativity and excellence. Stay ahead, stay inspired, stay Novi and Wabi. Let's revolutionize media together.